the Canondale CAAD 12 105 disc and the BMC Roadmachine 03. I test rode both of these bikes and am sharing my key findings with you. You can find all the details and the specs on the web, so I'm just giving you my personal view of my test rides. So a quick bit of context: I ride about 7k a year, town and country. I level out about 3.8 watts per kilogram, and I've lost a few short races in my time. I ride primarily a Cervelo S3, which I've regularly been commuting into London on because my old commuter bike is broken, basically, so I need to get a new one. Okay, so the key takeaway from the rides: the CAAD 12, super compliant. The ride was smooth, and even on the 25s, you skip over potholes. It's still stiff with some feeling, unlike the Synapse. I don't know whether you've ever ridden a Synapse, but that bike is way too soft in my opinion. The CAAD 12 definitely has a bit more feeling to it. Cornering, though, is sluggish versus my Cervelo. Maybe that's down to weight, but definitely the forks flex when you put some power down and when you're on the drops. And disc brakes clink, only a little bit enough to know it's happening. Not necessarily unsafe, just a little bit off-putting, a little bit different. The geometry allows you to get the power down for sure, and it felt fantastic, like pushing hard, and you felt the bike being really, really responsive. But it also felt a little bit unstable, particularly taking tight turns. If I was touring, this would be a great bike, but for me it misses the brief, and it lacked that fun factor, maneuverability that I need for city riding. So, the BMC, not as smooth as the CAAD 12, but definitely a much stiffer frame, which meant you felt a little bit more road bars, even on the 28 tyres. But loads more feedback. That meant you felt like you and the bike were working together rather than being a bit of a passenger on the CAAD 12. The through axle meant stiffer forks, which may have led to a little bit of a harder ride even with the 28s, but this gave a feeling like the bike was on rails relative to the CAAD 12. Cornering was super responsive. It also meant there wasn't any flex on the disc brake, which meant no clinking, and the Tigra group set, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce it, the Shimano was actually a little bit heavy on the heavy side, but very smooth, very good. I was very impressed by that. The geometry lets this bike down a little bit though. It's a little bit too soft, a little bit too old manish for me. I preferred the CAAD 12 racer shape. The cab felt like you could get the power down whenever you wanted to. Much harder than the BMC. However, the BMC definitely had the stiffer frame, so you definitely felt more confident in riding that bike. The BMC was a great commuter bike. It would make a great commuter bike, a great sportive bike. And it just had superb stiffness. The braking was, I think, better. I felt a lot more in control of the BMC, but it lacked that racer geometry for me. And so, in summary, both are fantastic bikes, but between the two, I'd choose the BMC. In summary, it felt really confident, throwing it into corners at speed. The through axles definitely provide a better disc braking solution. It felt lighter, and I felt like it was a much more comfortable ride for what I look for. Not too soft, not too hard. It probably needs some changes, maybe the group set, maybe those tyres, maybe even the wheels, so there's a lot to think about in terms of additional cost. I'd definitely recommend, if you're considering these bikes, test both of them because they are very different, even though they're at a very similar price point. I went to Evans. Evans did a fantastic job of bringing this together and allowing me to test ride these different bikes. So I thoroughly recommend you go see them or any of your local bike shops. What am I going to do? I think I'm going to continue to commute on the Cervelo for a little while yet, until I make a choice or maybe choose something else. Who knows?